Hey there, YTPC. This is Peddler Piper coming at you. And we're going to do something a little different here. We're contributing to a project organized by Sue Dunhill and Harriet Herfer to complete a book reading that was started by Danny Shore. Quick stock check is my Road Town Bamboo. And in it is Cult Blood Red Moon. So the book we are reading from is The Pipe, and it was written by Jorge Herman, or George's Herman, not really sure. In any event, I will be reading chapter 17, entitled Lighting the Pipe. Historical flint and steel. The history of fire itself can never be written, but in these pages we are interested in the means employed to make it. Flint and steel have existed from the day man first discovered how to make fire at will. There was a moment when some man first struck a spark from a flint and set fire to a few dry twigs or leaves. From that day to this, the method of fire making has changed but little. In Corsica and elsewhere, the peasants still obtain a spark by striking the tip of the knife against a flint, setting light to some form of tinder that takes the place of the original dry twigs. There are two sorts of flint and steel lighters. The tinder lighter. The lighter shown on page 104 consists in essence of a flint, a steel milled wheel, and a tinder wick. Footnote: the tinder employed in these lighters is sometimes called amido, which the dictionary defines as tinder prepared from a dried fungus steeped in saltpeter used as a match or styptic. By turning the wheel against the flint with a sharp flick, a spark is struck which sets light to the tinder. This tinder does not burst into flame, it merely smolders, and that is why this particular type of lighter is better for cigarettes than for pipes. It is safer, however, than the fluid lighter, and with a little patience can be used with a pipe perfectly well. In wartime and other periods of difficulty, it affords the maximum of security and efficiency. The fluid lighter, shown on page 105, works on the same principle as the foregoing, except that the wick is finer and only breaks into flame when impregnated with a fluid like gasoline. This wick does not smolder, and in that lies its chief difference from the other. The modern lighter, with an automatic lid, is a slight improvement upon its parent, but is more a luxury than a necessity, and of greater use to the cigarette smoker than to the pipe man. The only real advantage it possesses lies in the lid, which, upon being opened, automatically strikes a spark that may, or may not, light the wick. Despite the claims of the various makers, there is no certainty that this lighter will invariably function. It sometimes misfires, as does the old-fashioned flint and steel about which no eulogies are sung. Science is perfect only theoretically. It serves us, but we have to serve it. Fashion has brought the automatic lighter to the forefront, but its chief advantage, as we have observed, is that it obviates the thumb work on the wheel that was required by the older type. This advantage is so slight, however, that we should hesitate to recommend the fluid lighter above the many other means of lighting a pipe. To be fair, however, there is one excellent type of thumb work on the wheel lighter which has the inestimable advantage of staying alight in a strong wind. The flame even improves in a wind, as soldiers and woodsmen will testify. And there is a diagram there of the automatic lighter. The match. The match is a wooden firebrand, and is thus as old as the flint and steel. The only actual difference between them is one of cause and effect. And I will show you a little that it gives here. I don't really understand what they're trying to get across there. I like I said, I really don't understand that one, so maybe you can figure it out and let me know. In the Middle Ages, sticks of hemp were used, dipped in sulfur. It was not until 1805 that the sulfur was coated with chlorate of potash, sugar, and gum, which ignited on touching sulfuric acid soaked in asbestos fiber. The old lucifer match was a stick dipped in chlorate of potash paste with antimony sulfide and ignited by friction on sandpaper. Congreves were an improvement on these, and by 1830 a portable match was in production. It was not until 1855 that the amphorous phosphorus was invented, and the match as we know it came into being, the lighting material being transferred to the box instead of being placed on the tip of the match. There are many varieties of match which it would be fruitless to enumerate. How to light up. Some experienced pipe smokers recognize 2, if not 3, ways of lighting a pipe, and our diagrams may throw some light on the matter. At the moment of lighting, the surface of the packed tobacco undergoes a violent shock or convulsion that tends to upset the operation of combustion. And there is a diagram, an illustration of the combustion. The particles turn red hot, brown, or glowing, and curl up in a confused way so that the smoker cannot tell at first whether or not the fire has reached the whole wall of the bowl. It will, therefore, be necessary to take an ashtray, saucer, envelope, or some other object with a flat surface, a box of matches will do, and place it over the bowl as soon as the tobacco is alight. Carefully smooth the burning particles into place, strike another match, and once again, this time definitively, light the tobacco. This is the simplest and most rational way of ensuring even combustion in a properly filled pipe. There is, however, another method, almost as good and more speedy, which is shown above, which consists in pressing a piece of crumpled paper over the bowl, making a cap of it, and applying the lighted match to the center, at the same time drawing in gently but rapidly. It is rarely that the tobacco does not light evenly. This method also works excellently with an ember from the fire placed in the center as before. In either case, the paper must be such as burns easily and not too thin. A spent match can be lighted by this means, as illustrated. We have no preference for either of these devices, but we are most emphatically on the side of smokers who spread the burning evenly, and against those who let the lighting of a pipe take care of itself. Better burn one's thumb than leave things to chance. The even lighting of a pipe makes for easy drawing, as it ensures, so to speak, a good start-off for smoking. The advantage of having an even burning surface when smoking in the open air is shown in the illustration on page 108, which shows the wind blowing away the burning tobacco, leaving an empty bowl, whereas an even surface presents nothing for the breeze to catch. This method of filling a pipe is fortified to a remarkable extent by every smoker's experience. Yet the careless smoker who neglects to level the burning surface or even to press his thumb on the final packing will even leave the tobacco hanging over the rim of the bowl, reckoning that the shreds will be burned when the pipe is alight. Others, in a great hurry, have the habit of turning the pipe to one side or the other, as illustrated below, to make the flame catch the tobacco. There is no sense whatever in doing this, for the flame is drawn down by the suction of the smoker and can be directed to every part of the top of the bowl, as we see in the companion illustration, which is right there. Indeed, such scentless treatment of a pipe is proof of sheer culpable negligence. Other smokers go so far as to turn their pipe upside down under the impression that it will light better. Apart from the fact that materials such as meerschaum recover from such treatment with difficulty, it is highly inconvenient not to be able to tell where the flame has caught the tobacco. Things such as the foregoing should never be done except under the stress of circumstances. The object is to obtain a satisfactory light for one's pipe, and to do this it is best to utilize the phenomenon of the returning flame which occurs between the mouth of the smoker and the bowl of his pipe when he lights the tobacco, a phenomenon provoked by a series of short and regular inhalations familiar to all experienced smokers who have often burned their eyebrows. What shall we use? It is no matter what the pipe is lit with, so long as the lighter liberates no noxious fumes that may a. spoil the effluence of the smoke in injecting malodorous particles that cling to the tobacco, and b. affect unfavorably the receptivity of the mouth. Elements such as these must therefore be avoided, and among the worst may be mentioned the flame of a gas lighter, a sulphur match, and the wax taper. An ordinary wood or Swedish match is on all accounts the best of these artificial lighters, but an ember from a wood fire deserves a whole paragraph to itself. It is the queen of all lighters, and any smoker who cares to make the experiment will speedily recognize its superiority over any other method of lighting a pipe. The pipe lit with such an ember, especially if it be of some tesinuous wood, will afford 30% more pleasure and satisfaction than if a match or fluid lighter be used. This admits of no question, experience alone will convince the skeptic. It has to be tried to bring full convincement. Imagine coming into camp after a long day's tramp. Dark has fallen, and the log fire is blazing clearly and merrily. And then to be nourished, no other word will do, by a great pipe lit by a smoldering stick from the fire. It is at such times that all theories hatched when smoking in one study go by the board, when the whiff of the pipe mingles with the robust, healthy giving smell of a wood fire. It should be understood, naturally, that the glowing ember placed on the surface of the tobacco must be left among the burning shreds until the pipe is properly alight. We would even go so far as to advise pressing it in with the thumb, for not only will it communicate its perfume to the tobacco, but even when burned out it will assist drawing, merely by its presence in the bowl. It is impossible to overrate its virtues. The pipe with a lid has the advantage of retaining the burning tobacco without the need to have recourse to any other expedient. In its way, it takes the place of the thumb or the matchbox pressed on the bowl. Pipe lids are on sale that can be fitted almost any bowl, but nothing takes the place of the pressure of the thumb. It is alive and not inert, as the end of a pencil, nor limited to the surface of the bowl, as a matchbox. It is even possible to buy fills of tobacco packed in wisps of thin paper and ready to insert in the bowl of a pipe. Whatever the conveniences of this sort of thing, illustrated on page 110, it seems as useless a contrivance as it is harmful on account of the putting tobacco into the bowl. There is, however, no need to mention it in a book on smoking, although the practice is slowly dying out. Here endeth the chapter. Thank you for watching. Look for videos from other YTPC presenters who are also reading chapters of the book. And with that, I say, have a great day and have a better one tomorrow.